Well, people are going to start trickling in here because they're getting the notification about the event starting. Um, the Thank you guys so much for coming in here and joining us today. Wonderful world of stuff said. Good evening. Just dragged a few from learning basics to come listen in. Oh, hi. Awesome, awesome. Well,
Nice.
thank you so much for doing that. There's always something interesting that we dig into here. A lot of the character stuff is kind of particular to each person, right? So like I try to shift it up more often, but sometimes it's anime, sometimes it's live action, sometimes it's stop motion. Like it's really whatever we feel like doing here. So the and thank you so much for chiming in on that. Ancient will be out today. It'll. I do have a guest speaker that I want to bring on to the stage today, if that's okay, Kinky.
Who?
Um, Rhapsody.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
yeah, and we don't have to do that like right this second or nothing. I'm just letting you know that in terms of I have a little bonus surprise that she has set up to do that. So should be fun. Should be fun.
Sure.
Um yeah. Otherwise, I'm curious to hear how your all's week. I can't talk today. How your all's week has been. Um, we are it's been busy. It's been busy all over the place. So I'm always down to kind of distract myself with whatever kind of stuff you guys want to do, because I feel like I have like six different things juggling right now. And I'm super stoked to announce though that we have reached 1,000 members on the Discord for Movie Machine, and we'll be doing a proper celebration post here soon about that. Um, but the great thing about that is that at 1,000 members, we are opening up the forums, and depending on some upcoming announcements, we'll be able to really take full advantage of those forums here soon. So we're basically going to make first a comic, and then use that comic as um, the foundation for an animated film. That's the goal anyway. And it's all to promote and share the work of other artists, particularly traditional artists. So we'll be getting into all that too. So it'll be really fun to see what you guys make, and then see like professional artists like take on it and using it as the inspo for a an original animated film. So that's my personal mission anyway. So we're gonna play around with the new describe Zumster. We'll be sure to use it and see what kind of new stuff we can learn because of it. It's good to see you, Never. Thank you so much for joining. Um, and thank you all. Thank you all so much for all being here. So the what I have lined up for you guys to start though, and just to kind of dig into what we're going to be doing with the 1,000 member release. I kind of did a soft release with a few people already, just to kind of test things out here. But inside of my Discord, the Movie Machine Discord, I'll preview this really quick so you guys can see it, and and then we can just get right into it. So inside of that is yeah, let me actually open this up a different way here, because it's not pretty showing up on here right now. Why is that actually?
I
Does
don't
it look
know.
like that? Why does it look like that? Why does it look like
Do
that?
you need to shrink your screen on your
I did.
OBS?
Well, the thing is like I had this all set up and good to go, and now it all of a sudden just decides not to
You know what
scale
happened? You
correctly.
must have moved your screen on your
Yeah,
computer.
I must have done something like that. Yeah. So I'm gonna quickly make an adjustment here, and then I'll get to that. Let's fix this sucker here. Okay, that's not it. Oh, I think I have two of them laid on top of each other. I think that's what's happening.
Mm.
Sorry about that, y'all. Um, that one. No, everything's breaking.
No.
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 All right, let's see what's going on here. Why is that one missing? I feel like I should have found this by now. Sorry, y'all. Uh,
I have issues with like having my OBS set up before I start things. It's weird
yeah,
because
the
every
issue.
time I go in,
I'm so
things
sorry.
move from their positions. Yeah.
Right. And that's kind of what I have going on here. It's a little annoying that it's part of there it is. Okay. So now if I turn that back, yeah, there it is. Okay. That's what I meant to show you guys. Is this window here. Okay. So the inside of my Discord here, we have um the foundations for the essentially the first city of the fantasy story here, and we'll be digging into all these details when it goes live. It will be very soon, but essentially what these provide is srefs for the world building involved with the fantasy story. So the first city that we have is the city of Phantasma, and it is a Gnomon kingdom that has been taken over by human wizards. And I am super excited to get into the meat of the story that we have crafted for you guys here. But the super fun thing about this is that basically these srefs here, which I'm going to include here for you guys to mess with in just a sec. Um, these srefs will essentially give you the building blocks for generating the city itself. Um, and I'm just really excited to see what you guys are able to do with bringing not just the world alive, but also your characters and putting them in here. Because the goal is to just make a thing together, right? To do as many kind of multilateral stories at the same time. So you could be traveling to Phantasma with a friend of yours and create a whole story that involves like essentially mid-journey acting as your dungeon master, to where the results that come out of it is like the dice that you get, so it's like, all right, I attacked this and it didn't work or whatever. Then you can what is it, you can effectively tell that story in real time. That's where we're getting to. So this is an example of an sref for the valley, which is right outside of Phantasma. And when you use this as the sref, it will produce basically a Valley Vista scene for for the city itself. So we'll be getting into all that here soon. But what I'm gonna do is show you guys how I do this. So first I'll grab this image here, which is a pre-designed comic book layout in a fantasy environment with fantasy characters. So like all this stuff is going to basically be, you know, um, understood by Midjourney when we input this in to essentially style lock the series. And then we inject our characters into that. So the let's see, what does Lizzie say here? Are we supposed to see those channels on your server yet? I had closed Discord because it was acting up. I might have missed. Okay, yes, yeah, you will not be seeing them just yet. There's a reason for that. I will be opening those up in just a sec. But the reason I'm kind of going through this is because I'm going to be bringing these srefs over to VC Create for today, and then we're gonna deep dive um, on basically the world building side of this stuff today. So and then Legal Beagle said, Is it the valley to which you are beyond? Yeah, right, right. I am evoking a little bit of that in this. Yes, that is true. Um, okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back to Mid Journey here, and I have VC Create open here. And if you this is your first time here, if you look on the left side of your Discord, you'll see that there's a whole bunch of channels and stuff. If you scroll down to the stage here, which is where we're talking now, you will see VC Text and VC Create. If you type anything inside of VC text, it'll show up here on the stream, and it will eventually end up on YouTube. And then if you what is it? If you want to create stuff with us, just go to the next channel over at VC Create, and that's where we can all prompt things together, remix things together, and start to explore prompts and stuff like that. So thank you so much, Rhapsody. I appreciate that.
I did like
Um,
the VC create text in the VC create in the chat under the server.
Sweet. Thank you so much, Kinky. I appreciate
No
that.
worries.
Um, yeah.
Sometimes
Um,
people have their servers in different orders.
right, right, yeah. It's I get that there's a customization element that also even my setup, right? Like I have it to where my servers are hidden behind like a
Yeah.
bar that shows up like that. It's very convenient for streaming, but it's only on the browser version of Discord. Um, okay. All right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hit slash imagine, and then I'm gonna say multiple. I don't even have to use the word multiple. I can put comic panels depicting a gnome kingdom, and we're essentially going to be imagining um, what the gnome kingdom was, either before the wizards arrived or just during. It's really whatever you guys want to do, but this is my base prompt for it, and then we'll get into injecting our characters after that. So I'm just adding an aspect ratio of 2:3 and setting it to Niji 6 with the sref as the uh, this pre-set up comic panel here. So I'm just gonna hit enter on this, and if I am actually going to open up my notepad here because I have it pre-linked for you guys, the other srefs. So inside of VC Create, you can find the link to these. Um, and essentially, what that will link you to, I'll just click it for you so you can see. Oops, that opened it in a different browser. That's fine. It's going to bring you to this prompt here. And just to bring it down to VC Create, I'm just going to re-roll it really quick. Um, and I wanted to show the differences between these two srefs, and then I'm going to bring Rhapsody on here. She's going to help me not lose my voice today.
I
Let me,
see.
right, right. Okay. And then I gotta fix this chat window really quick because it got crunchy. Um, Deck, boop, unlock that. Now I can see you guys again. Hi. Um, let's lock this sucker down here. Okay. All right. So I'm just gonna show this off really quick here. So comic panels depicting the Gnome Kingdom. Um, you're gonna notice a really flat um, color palette and style that is for this, and that is largely to evoke like a forced importance onto your character. So whatever character you end up bringing into this world is going to basically pop a bit from the background from the world. Um, and because the sref includes those comic panels, you get these really great like here, and I'll full screen this a little bigger. Um, you get these really great like fleshed out spaces and worlds, and it's going to be a little Zelda like, a little bit like a cute chibi version of RuneScape. But once we start bringing in our characters in with this sref, you'll start to see some of the benefits of going with this lighter palette. um I'm just really a big fan of how it's coming out, and it just takes a reroll to explore this Gnomon kingdom with this SREF. And I personally just want to see where you guys go with it. Um, and the at least when it comes to like bringing your characters into this space, we we're going to be basically doing variations and injections uh with similar looking puppets. It's basically puppeteering is what we're doing. Okay. All right. So that goes through the SREFs here. And you guys are more than welcome to remix and mess around with them. Any ones that you get, like, look at some of these. I mean, it's just like we get these ridiculous beautiful landscapes out of these that has so much potential for the world building side of it that we can effectively explore this whole space just by using in painting. So I'll show you guys that really quick. We'll go through the first one here. And this is essentially how I have Exquisite Corpse running on, or at least how it will run on the Discord here. I'm sorry, not on Midjourney, but on my Movie Machine Discord. You'll be able to cycle through, inject your character into these individual panels, and see how they perform in the world here. So I know this is really small with the in painting here. Let me actually try to uh, open up the alpha website here to do the in painting because I'm gonna see if this lets me get a little bit of a better experience for this. So I'll be right back. At least to show you guys the how I'm in painting these. I want to make sure it gets a little bigger on the screen there. So let's see if I can do that.
Gonna be awesome.
Okay.
How's everybody doing today? You in painting?
Yeah. There we go. Look how much bigger that screen is now. That's perfect.
It's
Um
huge.
yeah, it's huge. So we can essentially say, like, okay, let's start off just by changing the environment or changing the scene a little bit to kind of give us an idea of like maybe a new space to go into or anything like that. Uh, I'm effectively just going to re-roll one of these to help influence the other panels here. So I will select one whole panel. I'm just going to do the bottom one here. V6 and Niji6 look at the entire canvas, while previously with like panning and zooming, it wouldn't look at the whole canvas. It would look at only a portion of the canvas. So that means that if I just hit submit with the exact same prompt that's here, it's going to it's gonna be influenced by the imagery here. But if we want it to be more influenced by the imagery that's inside of this canvas, then like for example, maybe I want to see this character in red show back up in this bottom panel. I can try to lower the style for this. So hyphen s, and then drop it to something like 50 or 35. um, this will more likely repeat imagery. It'll basically make Midjourney lazier when it comes to like being creative. Like try like that's like it's like, oh, I already have a character on the screen. I'll just reuse that character. Like it's that kind of thing for me at least. And the when it comes to increasing your styles, like, you think, oh, that means the quality is going to go up. It does not mean that. It means it's actually getting more generic. It's getting more like it might be like objectively high quality, like in the sense that it's like well produced, like it's got detailed highlights now and like all sorts of other like extras that Midjourney will add on, but that also causes the weird like excess constructs, like excess spaces and excess arms, limbs, things like that. It's just from Midjourney trying to make it more complex. So dropping the style will kind of help avoid that. And for some reason, I'm getting the spinny disk here. So let's see what we got back up in my results here. So let me try to set that style down real quick first though. There, hit that, submit. Yay, now it did it. Okay, cool. So you could see that off of the first result that I got, where I changed the bottom panel down and I didn't change anything from the prompt itself, you can see that all four of these results are unique. Like they're unique, but they fit the style. They don't diverge at all. There's almost no randomness at all in these. I love this one, by the way. I love anything where the shadow is so clearly being casted from something else onto something. I love it. It looks so good. And you see that we did get the character in red showing back up here. Um, and so now, and there's a probably good reason why it's a character in red, by the way, because in the sref here, you have a character in red on the bottom right corner that's walking here. I put a lot of time into this sref. This may seem kind of like randomly generated, but it's certainly not. The main thing I wanted to convey here was that there are two different sized doors in the world, and setting scale for the world is really tough. Because Midjourney wants to make everything like like full screen or otherwise like evenly heighted or whatever average height. um, by using little teeny visual notes like this, I am encouraging the information, like encouraging the end result to be a little odd, to be a little different than what I was doing before. Okay. So I took a lot of time into cleaning up the walls and everything that was all through here to give it some element of unique depth to color like palette. Essentially, it goes a warmer color to almost like a muted color to the back, and that was entirely me aiming to pronounce depth inside of your future srefs using this. So like, or the results of the sref here. You'll see that too in another one where is that? Where did I put it? It's okay. I can show you guys later. Where I have specifically avoid a blurry panel because I'm trying to not create depth of field. So we'll get into that here in a sec. But now I want to show you the one where we did the lower styles. Okay. So here are the lower style ones. It's clearly seeing the road and the brick as being relatively dominant in the frame because it looks like all of them have some element of brick or road that is showing the buildings. It's showing the world. It's showing the world. You notice though, it didn't lower the quality at all. Style doesn't mean quality, y'all. Like it means like like how much am I going to try today to like do I have to reach into some wild other part of the world in order to give you what you want to see in order to satisfy your prompt, or am I going to take a shorter path? The styles are like a shorter path to me. So cool, right? But here's the
It is.
thing. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say I think that the color stuff is great too because it helps to make characters pop against the background.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You really do want to have some element of expectation on your color palette because with these more muted colors, we are going to not only make our main characters pop. We like, and frankly, I like it when I hear the word pop. It makes my like designer brain go nuts. But like, it's just a matter of like everything that we are that we expect out of a film or a movie is not reality. It's a faked reality that's been put through a lens and a color filter and everything else. And because we are essentially like immersing ourselves into this, um it essentially lets us be able to um maintain a cohesion. The one thing you're going to notice through all the prompts that I'll go through here is that it feels all the same world. And that's all because we're using the same sref. So if we all use the same sref, That means that we have the potential to make something that can be glued together into something else. Niebuhr just reminded me. I should have said this earlier. Happy International Women's Day to everybody.
Why, thank
It's
you.
yeah. Make sure to call your mom and do everything you should in order to appreciate the women in your life. The my comic series tumbling up is actually revolving around stories from my mother when she worked at IBM. So I do put a lot into the women of my life in that series. A little bit to the dismay of my wife sometimes. But yes, it is certainly a celebration of women for in my life anyway. So, but thank you guys so much for coming in here today. I'm going to bring in a guest now, and maybe for International Women's Day, this is appropriate that we're going to have a guest star today. Um, the Some of you'll know her from from the Midjourney servers. Some of you know her from the Pika Labs server and stuff, but we're going to be joined here today with Rhapsody, and I'm going to bring her on the stage first before I show you guys this neat thing here. And then we're going to start injecting our characters and let our characters start repeating inside of this world. That's the next step, and I want Rhapsody here for that. So Kinky, is it all right if you throw her on stage?
Yeah, no, I thought you were doing it. I can certainly
Oh,
do it.
I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to do it. So it's I was
Rhapsody, can you
relying
raise
on.
your hand? You know how to
I
do
see her.
that? You know how to do that.
Oh, I could see her. I see her here. Let's see. Move to
Oh, there she is. I
uh
see her. I see her. I
yeah,
see
okay.
her.
Yeah, you got her.
I invited you to speak, Rhapsody.
There she is.
Hello.
Hello.
Let's see if this works here cuz we this is our first time doing this. So we're
Hi, everybody.
say hello to Rhapsody. Um, she is a wonderful contributor to Movie Machine and everything else that we got going on here. And is a power user like so many of y'all. So I'm just happy to have you here. Thank you so much for coming, Rhapsody.
You're too nice as always. But I'm very happy to be here. I'm very happy being here.
Hmm.
And I gotta get
Oh,
Kinky up on the
awesome.
stage here
Oh,
too.
yeah.
Let's see here. There we are. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah. And
I don't
eventually
know.
we'll
You don't
have
have to
your.
worry about me.
Oh yeah, no, we want you here too, Kinky. Especially
Yeah.
with the audience here, it'll be fun. Let's
Yeah.
let's do this. Let's just throw you down here. That'll work. That way we all get a little bit of a corner here. Um,
Hmm.
all right. Nixie 13 says howdy. Thank you. Yeah, no, thank you so much for coming, Nixie, and to anyone that pops by here, feel free to say hey inside the chat, and we'll make things together. We'll prompt things together. Um, the at least for me right now, I want to hear from at least from Rhapsody here. What do you think about these SRFs here, particularly like the results that I'm getting off of these versus like maybe some of the other fantasy stuff that we've done in the past?
So I think what's really amazing is we get a consistent color palette in these here and also a comic paneling built in. That's very different to what I got in the past. And I think it's a neat trick, like especially with these big white bars, you just bring Midjourney to a state where you generate multiple results at once. And that's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a better bang for your buck on whenever you're rendering things, right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Like you can always upscale it, right? So it's like you basically get 3 to 4 images at a time. And it lets us also have not just consistency of those worlds and the colors and whatnot, but also of like anything that's in the frame as long as we drop the style on it. So let's play around with that a little bit. I'm gonna try to inject Rio into one of these, and then we'll do I gotta put someone in there. So we'll try that out first. Um, so I do want to first kind of go through at least the character prompting here. So if you're inside of VC Create, I'm going to prompt Rio here real quick, and this is just off of 3 images from her turnaround sheet. But you can very easily um, essentially start collecting poses of your character as soon as you have them in a reliable, as a character prompt. So let me show you that here. So let's do Rio, which I have saved here, and I'll get into that after we get the links loaded up.
Oh my
But
god.
what's up?
I will see my character exploding into 1,000 panels.
Oh wow, yeah, yeah, into all over. Let's see what
I like that you got your VTuber on there, Rhapsody. I like that you did that.
Yeah, this, by the way, this VTuber model is also generated with Midjourney, of course. But it's
Yeah, mine is
basically
too.
also, yeah, it's also the base model of my personal new style. So it's
Cool.
really amazing. Yeah.
Very
She
nice.
put so much work into this VTuber, guys. Like it's crazy. Like the amount of physics that goes into the hair alone. Like all the rigging that you did on it. Yeah, it looks so good. You did a great job on that.
Thank you. And it's
Let's
not
see what the
done, it's
Good.
physics.
just beginning.
Yeah.
And then we got
I
to
think
get
I
one
can
for
also
kinky
stretch.
and ancient, and then we. Oh, there you go.
I
Yeah, yeah.
have
We could all.
one.
Oh, that I know you do. I know. I want to get you in here though. The way Rhapsody just gave me a link and said, "All right, make it a browser source," and I was like, "All right, now it works." So we got to do the same thing for you.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah. If
Let's
I know
take
one
a.
thing, then 1,000 tools to realize a lot of stuff.
Hmm.
All right, so here is Rio. And this is a successful character prompt. It's reliable at all angles. It gives us something we can expect every time that we prompt this. Okay. And this was done by combining 3 images. This image here, this image here, and this image. And that is called a turnaround, where you're basically getting the character from multiple angles. And what Midjourney is doing is it's finding the median between those 3 images. So as long as the images are pretty even and consistent, then it gives you a consistent median between all those images. So if one image is a profile and then the other image is like a um what is it a like a 3/4 or whatever, it's going to be somewhere in between there. Depending on the character design. Some character designs are a little trickier than others. But I'm going to show you guys now how to use these sheets to make dynamic poses. So we pick whichever one we really like. I'm going to go with the third one here because it has the most amount of face. It just gives us the cleanest profile here. So I'm going to upres that one, and we're basically treating it like you found this character inside of a Midjourney prompt. You found, like you were, maybe one of these characters. Most of these are going to be a little too low res for what you want to do. But if you do have that character prompt that you were happy with, oh, there it goes. Then what I would recommend you do is you do a custom zoom. Things are a little slower today, guys. Sorry. I hope it's not anything on
How
my end.
dare you?
Yeah, how dare
No, it's
how
also
dare
for
you,
me.
Midjourney? Is it also for you? Yeah, it could just
Yeah,
be a
yeah.
server issue.
I'm
So
on,
we'll
I'm
we'll
on fast and it's taking a minute or two to generate.
yeah. And so yeah, I can always hop over to the alpha site here. Let's take a look if there's any updates on this one. Refresh this. Okay, there's
Oh,
Rio.
Control use or legal beagle. Oh my god, legal beagle. I have Ryo now. Mwahaha.
Let's go ahead and zoom out of this here. I'll try it inside of the alpha. If you guys haven't played around with the alpha website yet, I recommend it, alpha.midjourney.com. The in painting tools are a little better because they just let you get to full res and everything a little easier. So you can go in and clean up any spots that you want to do with a little more finesse. But let's go ahead and do a zoom where we are changing the aspect ratio. We are going to go for something a little wider. So something like this, submit. And and in terms of applying the zoom here, I'm not actually seeing. Okay, yeah, so we can have say, hey, this is where we want it in the frame. But let's actually go back. Let me see where. Okay, yes. So we're generating that one now, and you can it like that's one of the new tools. Like that's one of the new things that you wouldn't be able to do on Discord would be to say, hey, I want to zoom out, but I want to center a line to the left. I want to center a line to the right. That will let you do that inside the alpha channel, or sorry, the alpha site here. But now that we have, this white space that's around here, we can actually run a in paint. So let's do uh, the vary region. And then we are going to highlight and select the negative space that's around Rio here. Okay. So let's take a look at this here. So now we inside of the actual prompt, we're going to erase everything except for Niji6, and we're going to write multiple poses, multiple expressions. And if we do not have enough room for what we want to accomplish, we can always zoom out and then do this again. So we probably will end up doing that. But the thing is that Niji6 by itself, without any additional parameters, is very stubborn. It'll oftentimes not give us results that will be useful for us with it on default. So we're gonna drop the style again. Again, it's like effectively telling it try a little hard, try a little less harder. I don't want to see 14 different outfit options for this character. I just want to see her turn a little bit. You know what I mean? Like something like that. So I'm gonna put a style of 50 on here, and then we're gonna submit that. And if let's actually already zoom out. We'll do a 15 times or 1.5 times zoom on that, so we can do one that's a bit zoomed. And the reason why is because you'll oftentimes see that the zoomed out ones are the ones that get us the more dynamic running poses and everything like that. But by lowering the style, we are we're effectively telling it, hey, I just want close-ups. Hey, I just want what you think is like the next neighboring image to this. It just the fact that we're seeing an owl, popping up because of the feathers and whatnot that are inside of Rio's design, is an example of what a higher style number would do. It would just start to introduce other things that it thinks you want to see because of the imagery. Yeah.
Yeah, it's also a
So
common problem I have with Ryo images in general.
what? Just birds everywhere.
Yeah, just random birds everywhere, and like the word feather also has like bird in it.
Right.
So if you use that, yeah, you get birds pretty fast.
You know
But
what? You
if
know
you
what?
guys are having trouble, I can also give you the Rio spell.
Yeah, the
Which
original the base prompt that you have for it.
yeah,
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 feel free to post that inside of VC text so that they can play around with that.
yeah.
Um, the at least the cool thing for me whenever I'm doing this kind of prompting, I'll usually use negative prompts to get around those kind of problems. Negative prompts can also be very limiting. Like they can instantly lock you out of big spaces in mid journeys. So you want to be a little careful or maybe even a little hesitant to use negative prompts. But it's a very easy way to get rid of something. If you just put a negative prompt on bird, she could lose, the way her feathers lay out on the outfit. It could be different because of that. But I run into birds the most when I'm doing bird's eye view. When I ask for a bird's eye view of something, it'll just randomly shove a bird inside the camera, like like as if I like caught a security footage on camera or something, and it's just like that's the moment the bird decided to peck at the lens. Um, all right, but you can notice that off of those multiple expressions, multiple poses, we got some really usable stuff. Like we got some really fun backs and profiles that can become options for our sheet. But say we want to go a little farther than this. We want to start to define the character more. Then we would want to zoom out a little bit. And zooming will sometimes introduce artifacts like this. It'll introduce like these distortions and things. Um, because anything near the edges of your frame is going to get altered when you zoom. So the best thing to kind of do here is actually to just include it on the in paint and see if it just gets rid of that. But I'll just tell you all right now, the one thing you want to avoid is the floor plane. If you see floor planes, you're going to have to either delete them when you're done with this whole process, or you just in paint them out, because the thing is the floor plane is going to motivate where the other characters sit on the canvas here, and we don't want any motivation for that. We want Midjourney to think this is a blank page, like it's not a there's no floor, there's no world for these characters to stand on. So we want to make sure the ground plane is removed and missing from that. And now that we're zoomed out a little bit and she's got a real big headdress on in here, we could use our image prompts to help guide it and include some of that headdress in here like this, right? But for now, I'm just going to show you guys what happens when we do a little more complex of a expressions prompt here. So let's get rid of all this except an AG6. And I'm going to say multiple flying poses. Why not? Why not? Multiple flying poses. And then again, set the style to something low like 50, and we'll see what that does. And just for the sake of example, I'll do one at 150 and another at 500. And we'll just compare those. And if none of those give us results we want, maybe we want to go even lower, you know? We'll take a look at it though. So they're generating now. What I like about the alpha site, by the way, is just being able to cycle this while they're generating. So it might be a little blurry. Look, her wings fell off. They're on the ground right here.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Why? But you're also
um,
going for the hard one. Like getting flying images of humans is really hard if you don't prompt for angels. So
yeah, that is true. That is actually an interesting insight to say prompt for angels. And you could see here that as I'm messing with Rio here, look, we even got like a really fun back, but it's all look. She's got bird feet. Look at all the bird feet. Like it's awesome. It's so much fun to mess with, but it is also true that if you don't include your references, like when you're doing the in paintings and stuff. I love this, by the way, the raising of the hand. That looks great. Like
yeah.
you definitely got to fix the thumb a little bit, but it looks great. So you take all these poses, right? Look at her do a little dance. Um, the you take all these poses and you add them all to a single sheet. Usually it's Photoshop or you can use MS Paint. It doesn't really matter, but you want to make sure that you have all these poses readily accessible to you so that you can just copy it and paste it into Discord so that you can basically call up these poses on demand. So at this point though, we can kind of show what one of those sheets looks like, just so that you guys, can take a look at this. So let's open up Discord again here, and then we're gonna get into your all's SREF gnome dives, your gnome kingdom, because digging into the gnome kingdom sounds like fun to me. Because we got to add Rio in there now that we have her as a successful prompt in here. But first thing I'm going to show you guys is what these sheets look like. So um, we have the Chaos Portal, which is the second half of the new announcement, like the new stuff that'll be coming out with the Discord here. The Chaos Portal is essentially where you can submit your characters for the either consideration into the series or just to work on them together and collaborate and make things together. And it'll essentially give you these sheets that we've pre-designed inside of this class with all of the notes and prompts and such, good to go. So there's a reason why I'm holding off on this just a little bit longer, y'all. It's you can find all of these character sheets on the original characters list that's here. So if you go to channels gallery, and then you'll see that's where everyone's been throwing them for now. But the new Chaos Portal is a forum, and it's going to be a lot better for collaborating on this kind of stuff. It'll just basically let us be able to make things in whole new ways, because the way that it aggregates data to the top as opposed to Discord's linear feed means that we'll be able to be dynamic with this. Okay, yeah. Let's pop back over to Midjourney here. Okay. And I am seeing that Fractal Bob has a couple different characters here that he's been running through. It's pretty cool to see the results of your stuff. But now that we have Rio here, I'm going to grab her image links, and I am going to find one of the. Let's just grab one of. Yeah, I'll grab this one here. That's fine. Wow, you guys prompted a lot. Look at you go. Okay, all right. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna hit vary region, and I am going to treat one of these characters that are on here as the puppet for Rio. And I'm just going to paste her image links into here, and then I'm going to delete the. Well, actually, I can keep the source reference in there as the same. It should be fine. And then I'm going to essentially just start outlining the parts that I want to change. But keep in mind that with Niji 6, it's quite likely that we will lose the character quickly if we inpaint too big of an area. It in terms of injecting characters, we still got to wait on that. But if we drop the style again, so let's do something pretty low actually. Let's do 35. It is going to try a little less. It's going to look at the images and not really try to composite those images. It's going to potentially get us something much closer to a something that kind of looks like Rio, because it's not trying to include a ton of information from Midjourney in terms of the complexity here. So if this is not enough space for this, like if we just lose the character entirely here, which we might, then I will resubmit that. But look at just Rio being like crouched down bird girl.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
it's so often that you got that bird feet going on. Um, it's a lot
Which is
easier.
new to Nietzsche 6, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, in Nietzsche 5 I didn't have that problem with these inputs. But Nietzsche 6 really likes to emphasize the bird in the picture. I think it's your
That's
fault.
funny. It's probably my fault. Yeah, it's probably all my fault.
Yeah.
And I could see there's already I Troll for You is already having fun with one of their characters, injecting them into
Yeah.
the scene, and that's so
And
cool.
Lizzie is making great art, environmental art right
Yeah, look at
now.
that. Look at that. Looking so good. I'm just excited to see where, especially some of these like power users go with it. I know, and look, she just added the words "a lush area filled with a garden." That's all she added, but she knows these words too. Like it's like, okay, yeah, lush will definitely promote all sorts of gorgeous greenery and all right. Okay, let's take a look at our in paint here. This is of Rio, and you can see that by including the images, we actually got uh like mostly there on the bottom left one. And I would say, like, which one do you think is the closest out of these four here? You say
Mhm.
Rio. Rhapsody.
All good. Basically the same right now. I would say color-wise it's the bottom left, but in general maybe top right. It's a little bit
Let's
difficult with these
I w- I
four.
would s- I would say with the top right, just because it gets us like the darker skirt going down, right? Without it being
Yeah,
so
it
dark like the
also,
top left.
yeah, it has the correct shape.
Right.
And shape
And that
language is really important when in painting.
exactly, yeah. It's all about your silhouettes and all that. You know what I mean? Like you're essentially manipulating colors as individual silhouettes in this regard. And the reason I was able to do this was because there's like this there's these like depth maps that are inside of everything that we prompt here. And we're taking advantage of that. Where it's seeing the shape of a person and we're putting another person there. Like we're not saying, "Hey, shove a whole new thing here." We're taking advantage of some found media, some some generated noise created something in the shape of a person. So let's take advantage of that and put a person there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to upres the second one here. And again, we're gonna dig through all your all's prompts here in a bit. Love it. I'm loving these already. I can already tell that some of them are gonna be real rad.
Oh God,
Um,
Lizzie.
yeah. Let's go ahead and do very region on this one. Oh, that's right. I have to do this in. I'll just do it real tiny for you guys, really quick. It's all good. I'm just going to select where I think is a little off, and we really should confirm inside of our um. Let's see here, inside of our image links here, which one is the one that we want to prioritize, and that will be the back of her head. So that will be the first link, I think. Let's see. Yes, it is the first link. So we can use image weights to do that. We can also delete the other links in order to say only look at this one. But she's kind of turned a little bit in a different direction, so we might actually want to keep the other ones in there. So let's go ahead and just add a weight of 3 to that first image. So you put colon, colon, and then a number. And that will add weight to that first link versus the other links that are here. And this works inside of srefs as well. So if you have multiple images in your source reference, you can put more emphasis on one of them. I will warn you guys ahead of time, though, in my experiments with srefs and trying to keep continuity, the more that you add, the harder it is to maintain continuity across your prompts. So I highly recommend, just if you, especially if you want to be working on the fantasy project with us, um, you stick to that one sref and then it kind of work within the limits of that sref. You're working with constraints. You're being an artist. You're working with the charcoal. Like that's what it is. So um the it really does help to give purpose to what we're doing here. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the back. I'm going to get rid of this. um where is There we go. So I'm going to keep this one up so that I can confirm what needs to be changed. It's mostly about blue shoulders and a hair, like a braid at the back of the hair. So I'm going to basically be selecting that area here, like that. And she's got a little bit of these wings, like that kind of hang down from her dress here. So I'm gonna put a little bit of that. But I'm also going to start focusing on the other character here. As soon as I have this recognizable as Rio, Then I will in-paint the center to see if Rio generates into the space automatically and gives us a whole new scene that uses Rio. And if we need to, if she doesn't show up, then we can make a fourth panel down here that forces her into it. So we'll get into that next. Uh, I told you guys next week that this would be a lot more comic focused, and this is why, because we're going to have to start abusing the crap out of chaos and weird modes in order to force comic panels into this. So let's go ahead and just see what this does with just generally selecting around here and the back with a higher emphasis on the back. Now, granted, we did put a higher emphasis on the back, so we could get some funkiness when it comes to this character on the bottom right here. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. It shouldn't be too big of a deal. And if it is, he has a front or she has a front butt, and then we'll fix the front butt. Yeah. So look at this.
Yeah,
Yeah, look at that. Looks great.
it's almost correct.
Yeah, right. You just got a dark outfit going up all the way to the bottom. But yeah, you could see like
Yeah,
as you start refreshing and re-rolling these, your characters are going to move around the space a bit. You know what I mean? And especially with Niji 6, the variation subtle is pretty. It's sometimes not that subtle at all, and taking advantage of that is super handy. For creating the SRFs, I did that for a bit. Look look at this! Look at this! You're fighting a gnome. You're
I
fighting a
just
gnome.
saw it.
That
It
looks
looks
so
looks
good.
like she's getting trained by an old gnome warrior.
Right, right. Oh, it'll be fun to throw these in Pika Labs later. Okay, cool. So you could see, ooh, Lizzie's just doing a serene woodland glade inhabited by fairies. And I don't really know what to call this style necessarily. It's kind of cel shaded. It's kind of it's very pretty. But it is certainly unique. And
You know what you could do is
Mhm.
try the new Describe that came out last night.
Ooh, yeah, we should do that. We should do that on the new one here. So let's do this on the bird here. We'll upres Lizzie's bird here. And while that's upresing really quick, let's take a look at what we got here. This is the in paint that we did with the back, and you can see it didn't really do what we wanted it to do. It didn't give her hair there. It's kind of interesting. It's kind of got a long nose like gnome does sometimes, but we basically just didn't get much of our instruction at all in this, and that's probably because of the multiple images that were included. So we can delete the ones we don't need, and maybe we want to describe it as a long white hair braid because we lost her long hair as well. So this is an example of where I take the L on that. I go back and I just do a variation region here, and then wherever it's screwed up really bad, I just remove that in paint that's up here. So her hair being gone, like I'm gonna get rid of that, and then I'm going to get rid of the other images, and instead of doing image weights that prefers one image over the other, I'm going to just write white braid Native American inspired dress, and we'll just see if that gets us a little closer to our intention here. And what hopefully will happen too, because we have the back here. Let's get rid of this just because we know that that's gonna be a reference image of the back of her. So why is this? There we go. I don't know why it's not letting me delete that, but it's fine. Okay. Native American inspired dress. Okay, then submit that. Um, we can drop the styles even more to kind of bring those simple shapes to the forefront. But yeah, it's certainly true that there are limits to this. So we'll see if we hit one of those limits with this. Let's take a look at what we checking out here. I'm loving all these environments, guys. It's looking so good. Um,
So
yes.
maybe as a question of interest, what thought process did you have when you created the SRIFs for the environments? Just so that people can go on the same thought train and maybe create some of their own.
Yeah, for sure. The main thing that I was looking for when producing the SRF was one, it's actually they're actually all completed comic scenes. They just have the characters removed. So I've proven that they have enough volume and space around them to fit a dynamic action scene or running scene or whatever. So they're not tight little rooms. They're open spaces, you know. Um, that was the first thing, was just making sure I have a nice big dynamic space to run around in. Um, the second thing was giving the white borders on the comic panels let us be able to force it to separate these images out and basically enforce Midjourney to not um merge them together into one giant like and it will still do that occasionally, but
Yeah.
but to really answer your question though, when it comes to like the cleanup side of it, like a lot of it is just like focusing on color, like focusing on specifically um making sure that there is a consistent tonality, but that everything has a purpose. That was the most important thing for me when I was putting this together, was that everything has to have a purpose. If I want there to be two windows here, those two windows are there because it's meant to show contrast to the windows that are across from them in order to give us some diversity in the space that we're in. If we give too much symmetry to Midjourney, it exaggerates that symmetry. And so I'm essentially like doubling down and saying, don't do that. I want you to do something interesting. I want you to do something else. And this to me forces it. It also, you don't really see a lot of fantasy spaces get higher up like this, so it's more, it offers a somewhat of a tilt shifted effect too. So yeah, I really wanted to just get rid of the people so that what generates is largely not people.
Yeah. And also, you give it a lot of perspective, I noticed, which is really important. Like, I tried to generate with a different kind of SREF before, where I had characters in the SREF, and it was mostly close-ups, and then you lose the ability to totally to generate some environments. So giving the SREF a perspective to then place characters in, I think is a very smart move, because there you can save all your color, all your shape and shadow language without it influencing any characters later on.
Exactly, exactly. And especially when you choose a color palette that is really strong. Like I really tried to go like look guys, like the deepest shadows in here are actually like a bright pink. Like, like that's something that's not normally done, and it looks great in this, in the way that this looks here, but that's mostly to kind of even out the darkest contrasts are not here. They're going to be in your character. They're going to be in the villains. They're going to be in the heroes. Like it'll essentially put emphasis where it belongs, which is on your subjects and not necessarily on the backgrounds. And the result that we get out of these though, in terms of being able to really take advantage of the results of this, is basically saying, all right, let's explore a world. Let's see what this space looks like. With new context. Like like the top left here is basically a path to Phantasma, right? Because we have the tower in the background. You just add
Mhm.
Gnome walking there, and she's on her way to Phantasma. You've completed a part of the comic story by doing that. Um, I'm mostly interested to see how your all's characters actually work inside of this SRF specifically. Um, because I did put so much emphasis on muting the backgrounds that it really is going to make your characters pop in ways that you guys are not expecting. Um, so like, let's take a look at what Rhapsody inserting yourself here. I like that. I like that. Um, let's take a look. Okay, yes, yes. So this is the one where we did the back here. Take a look. That already looks so much better, and it just took selecting less area to in paint, and and getting us just a little bit closer at a time. I would say the bottom right one's the one we should go with for now. Let's try to force I like the style contrast there. Ooh, look at that. Look at that.
Mm,
I love that. And it's
beautiful.
white hair, good to go, ready for birds, ready for bird girl. Okay, let's see here. I'm sorry if me calling you bird girl is upsetting. I don't mean it for it to be upsetting.
Just slightly.
Oh no.
Rhapsody will remember that.
uh ooh. Yeah, all these are gonna be great to in paint and mess with Leslie. You did a great job on these.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I could see you guys already going nuts on this.
I'm also scared and amazed at the same time by the results that Fractal Bob is getting.
Oh yeah, let's see here. What? Oh, the real life ones, like the IRL.
Well, he took the clothing, but the character is something else.
Right, right. Well, it's interesting. It's like a father, I don't know, almost like villainous father character.
Oh
That's
yeah.
the like a hidden, an unknown father. Um, the what's interesting about this SREF though is that it makes it this kind of like interesting faux faux 3D effect that happens on the characters themselves. That the lighting is there, but it'll do some like really interesting stuff. I'm just super curious what you guys do. Um, yeah, yeah. This is really cool. Um, Fractal Bob's doing some sick stuff.
He always does.
He always does. Um, I gotta
Holy
think.
Fractal Bob. What?
Yeah, right. Yeah, getting
Oh
into
my
like new
god,
levels
this
of Mayan
one.
depth. See which
Just
one are you
just
talking?
look at the one
Oh
I
yeah,
upscaled.
yeah, yeah. Let's blow this one up real big, real big.
This one it
Oh
has the
yeah,
wings. It has her general clothing and appearance, and there's just this gorgeous tower of houses in the background. Like, that's a prime panel. If you expand this into a comic, I wonder what would happen.
right, right. And that actually gets us into where we can kind of get into the kind of predictive action side of this, where if I hit custom zoom on here and we'll leave it at 2 for now, and I'll change the aspect ratio. I always do a flip. It's like it's my habit here. I flip the aspect ratios from 2:3 to 2:3:2 or whatever the numbers are. And I essentially the only reason I do that is to try to preserve as much uh either to preserve as much of the canvas by setting the zoom to 1, or by just simply changing up the formula of whatever I'm looking at. So like if for example we have a tower here, if I kept the aspect ratio at 2:3, it will probably just emphasize the tower more and make it bigger. But if I change it to where it's not going up to encourage the height of the tower or whatever is above it, then that wider aspect ratio might give us more panels. It might give us something interesting to look at. So the and another reason why his are looking the way that they do is because the style is so high. It's set at 850, so it's bringing in all sorts of realism and complexities that we just don't get with the lower styles. Um, but let's go ahead and I'm gonna just remove these for now. I'm just gonna write comic panels, and we'll show it as is, and then I'll show you with lower styles to see what the influence is on that. Okay. Yeah. These are sick. Yeah, any of these back of the head ones are gonna be really cool. It's like an overrun grown up Rio looking back at almost like the Wizard Counselor's Tower on the fourth one there. It's pretty cool.
But yeah,
And any of these ones with the conflict with the swords, right, that you're doing here, has the potential of doing some pretty cool comic book stuff too. Because anytime you have two characters in the frame, it'll more likely encourage um, them to be interacting when we do the next step here. So let's just say we have our characters in the frame that we want. Let's go ahead and hit Vary Region again. But this time we're going to focus on that middle panel that didn't really do anything before. Now we're going to highlight, select that like that. And we want to make sure that whatever we highlight and select, we want to make sure that we include just enough of the white space to basically, tell Midjourney, I still want a panel here. I don't want you to just extend the background or the foreground of any of these elements here. I just want this to be another panel. We're just going to just write comic panel again, just by itself, and we'll see what that does. Again, the style is low in order to draw influence more from the neighboring panels. So we'll go down and just take a look what that did. Oh, here's the zoom out too, by the way. Writing comic panels on Fractal Bob's generation of Rio gave us some really sick looking stuff. A little nonsensical, but like it's definitely really cool looking, and it's neat how it generated these two panels beside here that we could actually take advantage of. We could highlight, select, and generate that. But for the most part, it has no idea of scaling. It doesn't really understand our intent at all from this because there is no intent. I just asked for comic panels. If we add any words to that, we'll suddenly have more intent. So I'll basically hit reroll on this. I'll drop the style to like let's do really low. Let's do 15. And then I'm just gonna leave it at that, and we'll see what it does with no additional intent but lower style. Bird fight. That's awesome.
yeah, I tried to remix that one. Which is, by the way, a really neat trick if you have like a setup of characters in your scene, or like a character. It works better with one. If you have a character in place, but it just doesn't look right, and the background is also in there, but it's not matched, you can basically remix them. Not strongly, sometimes strongly, but mostly like the light version of it. Remix, what is it called? Light?
Subtle. Remix subtle.
Subtle, yeah,
Yeah,
subtle.
variation subtle, yeah.
And then add as a text prompt all the text prompts and image influences you had before, like all of them, just mesh them together. And then it basically redraws your image for better coherency. So you
Yeah,
guys
for
can also
sure.
experiment with that.
Yeah, and especially when you change your styles while doing variation subtle,
Yeah.
that'll certainly do some really interesting things. I've done entire Sage comics where I in painted, crafted the whole thing, and then I went, variation subtle the whole thing. Let's see what it looks like. And then I end up going with that after spending hours of in painting on one thing. I'll just go with the variation subtle because it just cleaned up certain things better than I had originally composited. So
Yeah.
um happens all the time. Um, so let's take a look at the lower style here. Um, ooh, look at this. It kind of looks like you put the sword through your neck on that one, but the other
Oh,
ones
yeah.
look great. You're gonna commit Sudoku. Okay. Let's see here. All right, so this is the lower styles one. And again, we can kind of see what the effect of the lower styles is doing here. It's trying less in the sense that like we're getting less detailed results, right? But it's also like kind of not being too diverse from the imagery. Like we have the same building but at different times of day, which is neat in its own right to have. But this is way too low of style to compare to the original art quality that was in there. So instead of dropping the style, we could literally drop the zoom so it zooms out less and refers more to this center image. And it may very well give us the balance that we need to be derivative enough of what we're working with to be useful, but also to have a clean aesthetic, because this is very low, very low definition in that regard. So yeah, that's neat, but that's what I mostly wanted to show you guys. Comic panels depicting a gnome kingdom in spring from Nixie 13. Ooh, I love using weather to set the mood of 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 really whatever shot that I'm doing. If you ask for overcast, it's going to be like the opposite of this, where it's like, to me, if I look at this, it's really pretty. Don't get me wrong, it's real pretty, but it also looks like the start of my migraines, right? When I get like a very bright light that pops in my window, and I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna get a migraine today. Like that's what I see is the bottom left corner, is that glow in my face, and I'm like, oh no. The I'm such a basement dweller. I apologize. Blooming. Yes, yes. There you go. Blooming. The yeah. It looks so good though, and it lets us build up such a fantastic world by asking for weather, by playing God a little bit in the worlds that we're in. Ask for a thunderstorm, guys. Like ask for it to, like, ask for the villain's arrival. You know what I mean? Like that's the kind of stuff where we can really start to take this really pretty world and start to see what kind of wicked places it could go. I love that.
God,
um
Lizzie is doing it perfectly again. The
we
last
are not
one.
surprised. Let's see here. Oh yeah, that looks so good. All right. So what I'm gonna show you guys though, um, with one of I troll for you's results here. I'm just gonna pick one that's a little earlier. Yeah, let's go for this one just because there's a large big silhouette on it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hit custom zoom. We could go back and grab the SRAF to expand this, but I would much rather, but just for the sake of doing this, let's put comic panels. I'm going to put a little bit of a higher style. Let's do 885 just to see what it gets. And then I'm going to write 5 on this one, just so, because it's a little bit of a more square panel. I want to make sure that we force new comic panels by using basically an aspect ratio that's unlike this one that we have currently. But I'm going to switch the zoom to 1. That way we don't lose any resolution off of our zoom here. And it should be highly derivative of this image. So we'll see what that does. I troll for you is showing Rio showing up at some kind of, this building here is sick looking, but it's definitely something ominous happening on the top there. Oh, there you fungus. It's the fungus among us. There you go. Love it. Yeah,
By the way, we need to add the fungi character into the chaos portal still.
we do, and we should
Yeah.
definitely do that because I want to get his the actual fungus character in there proper.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a look at the low styles here. So not only did we get 2 panels of it's okay that they don't show up the way we want them to. It's important that they show up as comic panels, because on the right here is much more common with higher styles, where it just finishes the shot in a way that, like, is it yeah, it's pretty, but it doesn't do the comic book effect. It doesn't continue the imagery. It just tries to finish the world. And we look at this sort of like contrast, like this profile with the wing. It does disappear, but we can easily in paint that back. Like, it's just really neat what it's doing. But now that we have these comic panels, we can effectively just upres one of them let's do the second one here, just because we did get that profile with the wings. I can now hit vary region, and instead of just saying comic panels, I'm gonna say comic panels depicting a sword fight uh with wings or something. Let's just sword fight. Let's just say depicting a sword fight, and let's see if they go at it at each other. You know, because we already know that that I troll for you's character has the sword in her hand. Rio is, you know, in another generation is bowing, ready to take it.
Yeah.
Uh,
I have a
and
question about what you just did there.
yeah, sure.
You inpainted one panel, so to exclude one panel, but this other character we got is still available in the top one.
Yeah,
So why didn't you outpaint both of them?
because I want the top one to influence the bottom one.
Okay.
So I wasn't necessarily trying to get Rio into there just yet. I was trying
Mm-hmm.
to take advantage of the fact that we got a bird lady on the top
Mm-hmm.
there. Now we have a bird lady on the bottom as well. And essentially repeating that imagery. Like, I mean, it's neat to see the effect of this sort of like lower style repetition. Um, if I went through and took the time to inpaint Rio into that top proper and then did that again, it would look far more like Rio instead of this random redhead with wings.
Yeah.
Um, you know, so essentially like the farther you zoom out, the more dramatic these changes become, right? So the only thing I was taking advantage of there was just saying, okay, I know that I'm going to get another girl with wings because you know, it dominates the two other panels. So yeah, that's my thinking, that's my logic for doing the these sort of expansions. But you could see the quality drop though, so I would probably keep increasing the style until the panels look a little better side by side. Assuming the continuity doesn't fall apart at that point. Ooh, yeah, same thing with here, where this is now selecting both of these panels and inpainting both. Um, it is drawing far more off of I think this is probably a custom zoom. It is drawing far more off of the center panel, but it is yeah, it's really neat to see what changes it does apply, and then go, how much work would that be for me to inpaint, you know, something new that's there. Uh, it would not be hard to inpaint Rio into this second panel here, for example. Um, just because we already have so much of the composition that kind of makes sense for her. I should just be able to now select this and probably be all right. But then we're going to lose the sword actually. So let's go ahead and leave the sword for now. And I'm just going to try to get Rio's hair to show up with this here. And we'll get rid of the red head on the bottom as well, because that's another thing with Niji 6 is that if you leave the artifacts from one of the characters, like one of the poses, into another, is a very good chance that your in paint will not work because it's looking way too much at the canvas for that. So I'm going to get rid of the black shirt almost entirely from the bird girl here, just to kind of again emphasize that I do not want um you know, I do not want bare arms or anything like that. Um and we'll just let the image do most of the work here. I kind of cut off her foot on that one, so I'm going to fix that a little bit here. Okay. And that should be good. We'll give that a try. We'll see how that does. We just got to write Rio in here. Rio, and then I'm going to set the style to like 25 just to get her in there. Legal Beagle trying to throw Victor in between this fight. I see. I see what you're doing. Very, very cool. Oh whoa, these hands ones from Legal Beagle too. Oh, that's some blood on the
Wow,
hands. Yeah, it's some blood. Um, they're doing
what's
parkour.
happening there?
I know, right? I wonder. It's really cool though. Um,
The birds flying in the alley.
yeah, there's some really cool stuff there.
Theo Beagle is prompting murder scenes again.
Damn it, damn it, Legal Beagle. I'm not feeling snappy enough to give a proper joke, like Better Call Saul level joke on that one, but yes. All right, cool. Loving all these guys. I think they're looking great. Um,
Yeah,
you
by the
could.
way,
Uh-huh.
if anybody has any questions, don't hesitate to write them in chat. Like, Victor is talking all day long if he wants to. But if you have questions, we're happy to interrupt him and answer them.
Yeah. I'm a rambler. It's half the reason I'm on stage is that I can ramble for 3 hours and figure out something to talk about. But I really do appreciate you guys like interacting and letting us know what you want to see. Like what maybe you guys have a character that you want to make. I want to hear about it. I want to know what you guys want to do. And just frankly, like it just makes it more fun to interact with you all. Watching the stuff that's getting made though, I really am appreciating um really am appreciating seeing like Lizzie and Nixie and like all you guys just making cool stuff in the feed. I'm what I'm gonna do then is I'm gonna give a couple minutes for you guys to like ask any questions, do anything like that. But I'm gonna let the feed slow roll for a minute. That will let me get a drink in, and that way, if you guys want to work on a specific character or anything like that, we can do that next and kind of take it from there. But I'll be back in just a minute.
And he's gone. As you can see, as he's leaning forward, sleeping. Kinky, we have the stage for us now.
Uh, yeah. I'm just looking at the VC Create. It's
Yeah.
really good.
Oh yeah, I'm
Everyone does
loving
such a good
this.
job.
Yeah, I'm loving this action scene with the evil Victor that's forming right there. And I think Legal Beagle is trying to inject his Sage the Mage there now as well.
Legal Beagle does a really good job too.
Yeah. So what do you think of the stream so far?
Oh, it's definitely it's informative. I like it. I yeah, I see the Victor one. That's super cute. Like he's coming in like Arr.
Hmm.
You've got your lady in there with the wings. Oh, a little garden gnome looks like. Is that a gnome? Legal Beagle? Oh, he's a wizard. A small
No.
wizard. Something.
Yeah. We need more gnomes in this gnome kingdom,
It's
by the
you?
way.
Oh. Are you a little wizard? Love it.
Holy smokes, Fractal Bob. Every single one of these images is epic.
Seriously. Love the one with the letter R.
Oh yeah. Arr.
It's R for Rio, right?
Yeah, I guess.
I'm not too quiet today. I'm having a bit of a headache.
Oh, so we're all sick. Victor has half a voice. I'm having half a voice. Like he told me today in the morning that he would like me to have me on stage because AJ is not there and he's not feeling too well either. An hour later, I got first
Agent
symptoms of
hardly
being
ever talks when he's here anyway.
yeah. But an hour later, I got symptoms of being sick too. Now you're sick too.
Yeah.
This is a
There we
sick
go.
show.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. Let me put myself back on.
Arr.
Arr.
Pirate Vic is back.
Alrighty.
Yeah, give me an eye patch. um okay. Yeah, so what did you guys talk about while I was gone?
We talked about you and we said you smell like fat.
Oh my god.
Mm.
Oh no, I feel offended. It's like the least offensive thing someone has said to me. It's all good.
I am going to step away from the microphone for a moment. I'll be able to hear you. You might not be able to hear me, but I do need to grab some Excedrin migraine. So I'll be back.
All right. All right. We'll see you later.
Yeah. Yeah, we talked about this. Everybody is sick today.
Yeah. Why is everyone feeling crummy? It's like uh, a shared
I think it's the new moon.
experience. Yeah, exactly. Something like that. Um, cool. In terms of like, you know, uh, like in terms of like some of the character stuff that like let's see what's Legal Beagle's already getting into some gnome stuff, which is pretty cool. A lot of the world building stuff related to the other characters, like the background characters. I'm very curious what you guys do because we'll be shoving them in because why not, right?
Yeah.
Whatever you guys make, we'll be able to utilize as some kind of like background asset at the very least. So I'm excited to kind of see all this come together like this. Um, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put up the black box here, and essentially what
Oh.
the black box is a place to submit your character designs that you find that you want us to expand on here on the stream. So if you have like a personal OC that you want to see us expand on and make into a dynamic character prompt, this is the place to do it. um the it's and I'll grab the link for it here really quick too. um it's pretty fun to actually dive into the let me grab the link for it really quick. uh,
Also, Legal Beagle has a question. Ask right away.
yeah, ask it. um
Also, Reneka, I hope the sickness isn't spreading through the monitor, so you should be safe.
Copy this here.
How do I use sref to change the style of a character? For instance, I have the gnome I just made in VC Create, asks Legal Beagle.
Okay, all right. So in terms of using sref to do that, and I'll pop this back open here. In terms of using sref to like change styles and all that, I would most likely use that with variation subtle. So you if you let's see what your current sref is. It's the Phantasma world. If you have a an SREF of like your pirate story, for example, like your D&D campaign Legal Beagle, you could definitely remove the characters from it and then do an SREF of that. And the reason I recommend removing the characters is because those characters will end up influencing the results in some way. There's a reason I'm asking you guys also to do like gnome kingdoms and stuff, because like like even though there's no characters in those prompts and stuff, it's going to encourage that kind of imagery, the fantasy imagery. But there's a lot of Legend of Zelda and Breath of the Wild sort of like parallels that get shown, especially when you start prompting with gnome in the image. So it's been scrubbed in a way to remove that. So yeah, variation subtle would probably be how I would approach that. um the and look, if you look at this down here, from I Troll for You. They did an injection with their character on the bottom there, and it looks so good to now potentially influence that top panel to be about the shorter haired white character, by just in painting that top panel out. Like things like that are essentially how I navigate, um, the generate spaces and stuff like that. And whoa, look at this dragon. Whoa.
Oh
Whoa.
yeah.
Yeah, no, that's sick. Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah, no, that's Fractal Bob. Fractal
Yeah.
Bob knocking
I
it
think that
out.
for me personally, that wins best image so far. Holy wow.
The downward angle on the dragon, particularly to give it the sense of scale, is what's so impressive with
Yeah.
this. Yeah, like that I love that. That was great. I had to upres that for myself. That's great. Um and and just to kind of explore SREFs for character prompts specifically, is how I would maybe retain the style of the character I'm working with, as opposed to the world that I'm working with. So if I wanted to generate similar characters in a style of gnome as opposed to the world, then I would run an SREF but not include gnome in the actual prompt. It would be something like this, what Nixie's doing, where there is an SREF of, and this is most likely the Phantasma world. No, it's Rio. Hey. So they went, okay, give me a gnome explorer, but in the style of Rio's art, like of Rio's character art
Mm.
here, right? And so like we didn't really get the gnome, but we got some elements of her character's art style being shown here. It's not really too
Yeah.
pronounced, but it's there. Um, yeah,
I'm
and
back,
you can.
by the way.
Oh, hi. But with this variation strong, it's super. Or sorry, variation subtle. You can see we lose a lot of her. A lot of Rio just disappears. With the variation subtle, but yeah, that's just sick.
Oh my
Awesome
god.
job there, Fractal Bob. Awesome job.
Awesome job, Fractal Bob.
um,
I do
yeah.
love that so much.
I'm going to post inside of VC text here. This is the link to the black box, so that if you guys want to submit, um, the any sort of character prompts at all, just answer the questions that are in there. There's going to be a bit of an alignment chart question that's in there. It asks what your character would do if confronted with a duck. I promise it's relevant. But it will it lets me know, how
Oh, you did it.
yeah, I appreciate
Didn't
it.
realize
No,
you already did it.
no, it's great. Thank you. It definitely lets me know what sort of character you want to go for in terms of their alignment, whether they're neutral, evil, that kind of thing. Like it's it helps give me direction. But what I'm gonna do now is open that once more. I'm going to open this so I can take a look inside the black box, see what you guys have submitted here. Um, Folders, containment zone. uh, Come on, show me the thumbnails. Come on, Google Drive, you can do this. Don't make me change my window size. Come on.
Don't make him do it.
Don't make me do it. All right, it's just gonna make me scroll through this really quick. Um, there is a person here. Let me see if their answers show up. Called mad. Okay. Just a second here. Let me see if they actually gave me permission to use this person's face, because it would be interesting to do a live action run. But let's see. In terms of answering the form here, I need to check. I need to go back in here and actually check the answers really quick because for some reason it is not giving me the correct listing of the characters here. What the heck?
Oh boy.
Yeah. It's doing weird response things. Let's do individual and then yeah. Oh, and it doesn't show me the damn images. Okay, that's fine. I'll just go ahead and work off of one of the other characters here because I don't want to have to dig in and find out whether or not somebody is actually like if they just want me to make, you know, something about someone else's face. Like I just it kind of weirds me out to think about potentially accidentally deep faking someone on here. So I try to stick towards like more animated characters anyway. Um, there is one here that could be kind of interesting. Let's download this one here. This one's from Fiddler, and I'm just gonna download their two poses here. Okay. Opening back up. Haha. Hi everybody. Oh, Rhapsody's gone. Oh, there she is. Let's see. Yeah. All right. So inside of this, I am going to open up my Photoshop here as soon as it loads. Oh no, it's taking a while. Okay. Photoshop. You can use any image editor that you want. You don't have to use Photoshop, but that's what I'm going to be using today. We're just going to demonstrate Fiddler's character here. So I'm going to open up the tablet here, and I'm actually going to go back really quick. I got to grab Rio. I can't leave her behind. Let's see here. Derp. Copy. So weird. It's so weird to go like, okay, I got to copy you really quick. Hold on. Let me
Yeah.
put you here. And then I'll put you in the background here. Boop. And let's see. Where's yeah, okay. Yeah. There she is. Let me
Stretchy.
yeah, right. It's a little stretchy. I'll just shrink you down a little bit. Yeah, there you go. There, she's just gonna hang out there. Okay. So yeah, you can just watch her wobble. Let's go ahead and grab the images here. So I'm just gonna make a canvas, and I have two images from Fiddler here, a head chart and a single pose. That's all we got here. And that's more than enough to get started. So let's grab these and kind of break them up a little bit, make them a little bit easier to see here. Okay. Get rid of this. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of the backgrounds. So the easiest way to do that is just put a magic select tool of some sort. But there's also like new like AI like smart selection tools, which are really nice. But this is a super clean silhouette. Should be pretty easy to work with. So we're just going to go ahead and delete that background here. Okay. Now we have her pretty clean. And we're going to use that as an injection. So we're going to copy that here. Select. And Let's see here. Now I will pop us back over to the fantasy stage here. And I'm just going to submit that first image in. And if I include all the faces that are in here, oh, that's mine. Hey, sorry. Okay, hey, it's good to see you, Ash42. Thank you so much. I'm glad you're here to check this out. So what I'm gonna do with your character here, Ash, is I'm going to now inject with this, but we're going to do a /describe with the new describe because that just came out today. So let's do that. /describe. And then we'll grab image and just drag and drop that into there with a nice clean background, no background on there.
By the way, I used the new describe today in the morning the first time,
Mm-hmm.
and
How'd you like it?
it was like insanely good. Like it was
Good.
a first try, first hit, like perfect.
I'm so glad you like it.
Yeah.
They have been working on it
I
pretty
worked
hard.
really
So.
hard on it just for you.
Just for you.
I did it all just for you.
Well
I
then,
hit the
thank you.
imagine all button so we could see what
You're
kind of
so
comes
very
up here.
welcome. Don't let them tell you the devs said it. It was all me.
um, but the imagine all button gives us an immediate kind of expectation of what these words are gonna do, right? And we're already really close off of that side angle upper. An elf female character is standing in black. Like all these are good for what we want to do. Um, that one's also pretty good. So what I'm gonna say here is flat skin goblin character. Yeah, it definitely makes the ears pop out like that. So the main thing you're gonna immediately notice first, by the way, is the fact that it's preserving the aspect ratio, whatever image you put into it, right? But it's also going to preserve whatever version or whatever mid-journey bot you're using. So like if you use the Niji bot and do /describe, it will output Niji prompts if you hit that imagine all button. Right now, it's like if you hit imagine all, it's whichever bot you ran the describe on. So for this though, I think that first one is actually pretty legit mixed with the second one here. So the yeah, let's see here. Not quite, not quite about what. But let's go ahead and we're going to hit a reroll on this one, and then I'm going to take the image link and I'm going to post the image link into there, into the prompt, right? I'm going to change this to Niji6. Let's do a little bit of a more sane aspect ratio of like 2:3 or something. And then because we have all these words that are here, you could still use /settings to prefer Niji6 or V6, and it will use that. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Neat. I learned something today. So if we switch it to Niji6, we set the aspect ratio to be a little wider. We put the image on the front of it, and we have all the words that were used to generate that /describe earlier. I'm also going to add an image weight of 3 just to max out the reference as being this image. The form is so that you can submit your original characters to the stream, Niebuhr. So it's just an easy way to end up on the stream here casually. So if you just take your time, build your character, uh, you might get something like this, like what Fractal Bob's doing, like ridiculous Rios that are like about to end
Absolutely
the world.
crazy.
Yeah, absolutely
Yeah.
crazy. There's dragons at the end of her wings here.
Yeah.
That's
Incredible.
it's incredible. It also shows you what happens when you run real high styles. Okay, all right. So I did something wrong here clearly. Oh, internal error. Okay, I'll try it again. Let's do that again. Reroll, paste the image, aspect ratio 2:3, EG6. And I'll try to put an image prompt of 3 on there. Image weight of 3, sorry. Invalid link. Is that mine? It has to be mine, yeah. Huh. Let me go ahead and grab a link again. It is a Discord link, so.
Is it an old Discord link?
It shouldn't be. Yeah, okay. So the slash describes are still pulling from Discord for that. Okay. Let me just go ahead and copy this over again. I'll just do it again. Paste the image. Ba-ba. We have the image link. Go back up to here. Paste the image. Image weight of 3. EG6. And a sane aspect ratio. Okay. All right. Now that's processing. So essentially what this is going to do is it takes all the stuff that it learned from the that we saw that it did from the slash describe. We confirmed it visually was pretty close. We can then run this as essentially a blend of all those words and the image, but the image is now basically valued like 3 times as high as any of the words it's in there. So look at this. Yeah, we got something really close to the character, like real right off the bat. You got the ear poking out, but you still have the hair winged over to the side, and just it looks great. It's we don't have X's on the sleeves or anything, but we do have these stars, which is pretty cool. I'm gonna go with, let's see. I would probably say that the fourth one's the most accurate. Yeah, I'll go with the fourth one here. And you guys are gonna see me often going with the initial one of the initial 4 options that comes up. You really shouldn't. You should keep digging. You should try to find those gems, you know? And then go from there. But now that we have this in here, and she's got the boots, she's got the leather jacket, the belt. It's kind of interesting too because in the original image, if we compare the two, the wider aspect ratio brought her legs out a little bit. It's actually really fun to do it this way to show you guys the side by sides here. Shows you the influence of aspect ratio, but it also shows you the what is it, the influence of certain parts of the image interrogation as well, because her belt is barely visible. There's a little teeny dot, like a pixel or two, that's here that represents the top of the belt, and it went, oh, okay, that's a whole belt that's there. That's crazy. That's awesome. So essentially, now that we have this, we first need to inpaint away the black bars and such. We can just zoom out and see if that gets us most of those taken away. Because remember, well, like I said, if you zoom out, the edges may change. So we don't want to zoom out too far because otherwise the top of her head's going to change. So I'm going to do a custom zoom. I'm going to only set the zoom to like 1.2, just something really low, but I'm going to change the aspect ratio to 3:2. Again, I'm doing that flipping aspect ratio trick. And I'm just going to run the prompt as is. I don't really think I need to change anything else yet, because the only thing I'm doing is I'm changing the aspect ratio. So hopefully, because I left the image in there, I left the high image weight, all that sort of stuff, it should keep the top of her head about the same. So we'll see what that does. Yes, I'm digging where I troll for you is going with this sword fight here, because taking their time and really making sure that the details are right for the 2 panels that they're going to work with, like they're working with now, means that the top one can only be more accurate by the time you do the predictive stage of this. So yeah, very cool. But you could see here, as we're zooming out, we're already getting somewhat of the effect that we want, right? Where because of just the wackiness of DG6, it kind of infers a little bit of what we want already, even though I didn't ask for multiple expressions, poses, or nothing like that. But the style is too high. Look at how much it's changing about her hair and her face and everything. Like it's some of it's okay. Like some of it's great actually, but it really doesn't serve the intention of what we're going to do next, which is let's take whichever one has the least amount of floor plane. So I would say the second one here. Because again, I'm ignoring everything on the image except for the feet. I'm looking at the feet and I'm going, that one has no, I don't have to clean anything up on that one. So I'm going to do the second one here. And then I'm going to do vary region, select everything but the girl in the center. If you need to use additional words from your /describe, you can, right? To like effectively like help guide the sort of results you're going to get here. But it's probably better to work off of your own instincts here, because if I ask for a running pose, for example, like multiple running poses, then if she's meant to be like the let's just say she's the runt of the police force, like she's like the weakest one there or something like that, like she's like the bunny from the Zootopia, like that kind of trope, right? Then we probably don't want to give her the most confident run. We probably don't want to, like, there's certain things that we can do that will decide this character's personality, like as we're generating these, as opposed to asking for I need an unconfident runner. You know what I mean? Like it we can infer that stuff, and kind of take it, at least in our own path here. So okay, this is an example of not dropping the styles. We didn't get any running poses. We actually just got pretty lady doing like I'll be honest, it's basically a stripper pose. So I'm going to go back up here, do vary region, and then instead of changing anything of the prompt itself, I'm just going to lower the style to, let's just do 25 for this. And then see what the difference is there. See what it looks like when Midjourney tries a little less. Tries a little less to do this. Westerdorf said, not to be distracting, but I just saw an Instagram account that Rhapsody might be interested in, knitted feather clothes. It's called Virtual Yarns. Check it out after this. Ooh.
Yeah, I opened it already on the site, and I think it's amazing and interesting. Like,
Westendorf always
thank you
has the
for
best
the.
suggestions.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, finding images like these on Instagram is also great input to just find different things that you haven't seen before.
Mm-hmm.
So if we take a look at the lower styles, though, we got the running pose. It's kind of an awkward running pose, don't get me wrong, but it's definitely a running pose, while before we got no running at all. You know what I mean? So it understands our intent a little better by using the lower, um, yeah, the lower styles. I Trollfree said, I found it very interesting that the Gnome Kingdom SREF makes her have elf ears and makes her an elf. Yes. Okay.
Yes, I tried
So,
to input his character into my gnome tavern.
oh, look at that. Oh, it looks so good. Yes. Yes. This is the kind of fantasy crap that I'm excited about. Okay.
Yeah,
Yes. Because it's one of those things where, like, yeah, just imagining another character, like, at the other end of the bar, right? And being able to, have your character talk to that person, um, is kind of like the end goal with having multiple characters in the prompt, because you can effectively, predict what they're going to do next with the comic panels prompt. I love doing that.
yeah.
This is a great result. Good job.
What I especially like about this is the size difference. The tavern is still gnome sized, and she's gigantic in it.
It's so good. Yeah. And just to kind of touch on what I Troll for You had brought up here, one of the reasons why that is that it encourages the certain fantasy themes like pointed ears and such is because the SREF is based off of fantasy prompts. It's based off of the fantasy storybook prompts. But it's also based off of the art of our art director, and the art director for the fantasy story is it's it her work is guiding everything when it comes to the at least the decisions that go behind a lot of the character art. Now, it's been, run through AI so many times now that who knows who can really claim to be the author anymore. But it doesn't matter because what results is a world that evokes when I see you guys doing this stuff, I see her work. Like that's what blows my mind is that the art director's work is being repeated into every one of your all's SFREFs. And guess what? They're all fantasy related stuff too. So it's essentially it's the noise, it's the language within the noise that we cannot understand, that we do not see, that is saying, "Oh yeah, this is a fantasy story," when there's nothing necessarily that evokes that. Like it's amazing, and it's all because I based it off of noise. I did not base it off. I did not draw out the world myself. I generated it and based it off of that, and then so the characters that are hand drawn, that are made by traditional artists, they're the ones that are going to pop the most because they're not jarring, but they and they're not clashing because they're all done by the same artist, but they're going to pop. They're going to exaggerate themselves in a way that's believable. um okay, so you can see here that Ash 42 continued where my ramble had left off, and they had run their own very region on here. And you could see that as you explore this, you'll find other poses and other things that you will just be saving to your sheet. So if I now hop myself back over to the tablet here, we take any one of the ones that we like from here. Oh no, my Discord crash. Am I still here?
Oh no.
Okay. Yeah, am I
Yes, you
still
are.
here? Okay, okay,
You're
good,
here.
good. I saw my Discord crash, so I was like, oh no. Okay, good, good. Okay, so at this point, what we want to do is we want to grab any of the poses we like, or we want to generate new poses that speak more to the character. Okay, so I would have to dig through the black box to know exactly which poses to pick for the character, and I might just do that. But it is really cool to see more of these, like kind of like in running, because it lets you be able to see where Midjourney's making assumptions, like the hair length and certain poses may not speak to your character. Like I do think the top left has the most potential for showing somebody who is nimble, for example, while the top right would probably show someone that's a little more stuck up or aristocratic in a way. Oops, I'm not showing you any of that stuff. Whoops, sorry. Yeah, so basically these running charts here, like we want to make it so that it speaks to the character that you want to pick, of the results here. So you might need to re-roll a bunch to find the right poses. um and again, Fractal Bob is knocking it out of the park.
Oh
um
my god, yes.
and you could start to see that a lot of the poses that we end up picking for these. So I'm going to go with the bottom left here, um, and not pick the middle one. And then I'll pick the fourth one here as well. There's a couple ones where like my butt's out, like being a little flirty. Like that's the ones I want to avoid for anyone that's supposed to kind of look like a badass cop. Things like that. So I'll take like this picture for example. Hop back over to the tablet, paste it, And the resolution doesn't matter too much. It does matter at some point, but it doesn't really matter too much. So you don't need to like upscale these or anything like that. But I'm going to take out the pose that I know I don't want. And then I'm going to separate the two poses I do. Just because it makes it easier to select things later. Okay. 1 and 2. And take the other sheet. I'm going to work off of these 4 poses here because it gives us more than enough action to really accomplish what I want to show. Not a lot of diversity in the angles, for example. The camera doesn't change very much in these poses, but it'll be fine. You really do want to go like kind of ham when it comes to just the number of poses that you have, just so that you have them all ready to go. But let's go ahead and drag this over here, drag this one up here. Okay. Now I'm going to combine all of these together to effectively try to make a turnaround that has, more understanding of her form. Because what I'm looking at here is I have 5 different faces, I have 4 different poses, like running poses, and I have one master pose, like one that is, it's technically a profile, so it's not really a good master pose because it doesn't really tell us everything about the character. So I'm just going to combine all these, and then we'll get it in there and see what happens. Your home. Okay. One, and then grab another. With the full bodies, it doesn't matter too much about the negative space underneath the feet. You do want to keep it relatively tight, but it doesn't really matter too much about that negative space. If there's any parts of the body that's missing, like cut off and stuff, definitely don't include those. Like for example, her hand's a little cut off on this third one that's going to be coming up. I cut the crop to be just at the hand there so that it doesn't necessarily influence the the final anatomy of her. Then this one here, whoop, same thing, just making sure that it's pretty clean all the way around. But now when it comes to the heads though, what I want to do, and I'm just going to show you guys this in the tablet really quick. When it comes to the headshots, and this will become more relevant later. I can't really explain why, but the negative space that's underneath the head here, we have to make sure is gone. So it's like crop it like right there, something like that. Okay. That will let us be able to say that this is a headshot. This is a close up of a person or whatever. The negative space that shows up on the bottom of these images here, here, if there's negative space on the bottom there, it'll basically promote it to be a floating head in space. We don't want that. We don't want floating heads unless that's like what you're into. Uh, so instead, I'm just going to now make sure I select all these heads so that they don't have any negative space underneath them. And if you're not familiar what I mean by what negative space is, just white, just the white, the white space. Okay, let's see if that one's clean here. No, stop blinking. All right. Good. And we got one more. Thank you, Ash, for providing such a clean file to work with. I really do appreciate that. All right, cool, we got it. So now we can submit all these in. And I'm just going to grab all those links. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The thing is that these first two faces are not only very similar, but they will kind of cancel each other out because they essentially overlap too much. If you see this kind of repeating pattern where it's like I kind of want the face just to be slightly different lips or whatever, like I in painted a new mouth on the character, you're actually canceling out information when you do that. So the reality is that we want only 3 of these faces. We want each angle of the face more so than the expressions for now, because the expressions we'll get later. It's really more about how dynamic the head movement is at this point. So I'm gonna go with the let's do the second, fourth. Yeah. I'm basically just going to go with these 3 here. So we have these here. 1, 2, yeah. Get rid of this one. There we go. Now we have the 3. I'm going to go to the bottom here. / imagine. And now I'm just going to grab these image links. My goal with this is to try to get a dynamic character prompt that features the full body, but at the same time includes these faces in there so that, like it has some information about how the face can turn. And the thing is that the more headshots we include with this, the more likely it's going to zoom in. It's going to give us like a cowboy shot, basically. So I'm just going to do Niji AR 2.3, and we'll just let that run. Oh, did I write Niji 3? I wrote Niji 3. Okay, hold on.
Is there an EG3?
There is no Niji 3. I don't believe that exists. It was really funny. I saw this really trolly meme that I should have shared to Kinky, honestly. It was like, I got access to Niji 5 guys, and he just edits the prompt and it changes it to 6 to 7. Or sorry, I got access to Niji 7 and he changes it to 7 and then hits enter and just delete it. Like they just were like, oh, I'm a hacker now. I such a stupid idea, but it's my level of joke anyway. Okay. So we'll see how that processes with all of these running. Most likely, like I said, we're going to get closer to a cowboy shot as it finds the median between a close-up and the full bodies. So we'll see how that comes up. And St. Patrick's Day promotional photo featuring Guinness style in the 50s V6 from Gary 102. Cool. All right, look at this. Look at that. So we got a little bit of the sass and the attitude that was shown in the running poses, right? But we would, what we're noticing is definitely preserving out of this is it turns the X into like kind of like a medallion in the center, which is kind of cool. But you would basically just keep messing around with different combination of images until you get a character that really shows you all their stuff. You know what I mean? Like right now, she is missing an arm in all of them. It's all kind of twisted torsos and stuff, which is common when we just start blending things. So let's put more emphasis on the front of the image here. So the first image is the primary pose here, which is again she's turned at an angle, right? So why don't we find the one where she is face front? This one right here. Okay. So that one is it the 20s one here? Nope. It is VSU. Okay, yes. So I find that prompt, that one image, that would be this one here, and I'm gonna set a weight of 5 onto that, and then just make sure that all the other prompts are separated a bit. I'll put that at 1 and put this one at 1. There you go. And that way we just ensure that, everything here is 1, everything that's 1, blah, 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 blah. So let's just hit submit on that. So now that there is a much higher emphasis on her standing front, and we'll see how well that does. Like face front, anyway. Ooh, I need another drink. I'll be just 2 seconds.
Yeah, stay hydrated. I'm also really noticing it right now.
Yeah, we might have to what is it? Normally we do a bit of an after party on my Discord and stuff. Rhapsody and I have been feeling pretty poopy the last day or two. So we might take it easy tonight. We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I'm honestly getting pretty tired. That's why I'm so quiet.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. I think that's what we're
Yeah,
probably going to end up doing. Especially as we start rounding down here, looking at these characters that you guys are throwing in. Like I just I'm just loving the way you guys are messing with this SRF though. It's so cool to see um this kind of previs for a project that I know that we're all going to make together. Like it's so cool. And and yes, I love Fractal Bob's like insanely high quality, like absurdly high quality art that
yeah,
he's making here. And the like again, it's all based off of, whoa, look at his effort. That's why his all of his stuff's ridiculous. Look at that.
Whoa. I've
yeah,
been talking on mute this whole time.
I
Oh,
gotta love that, right,
hi.
Kinky? Hi,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's my
You
fave.
got, yeah.
Um,
It's
but I wanted to know where, when you put the SREFs in, um, did you put them in the VC Create?
yeah. So I let me go ahead and grab those again so that people who weren't here earlier get them as well.
Yeah, I was wondering what we would do with that if people came in a little bit.
Yeah, let's go ahead and I will relink the starting prompt here. Um, I'll post that inside of VC text, and also I'll just click that here so that you guys can see what that does. So that brings us to comic panels depicting Gnome Kingdom with the SREF of Phantasma. So the essentially when you open this here, oops, I gotta jump back over to VC text. There we go. Okay. When you open this up here, you're going to find this SREF, and this is the crafted SREF for Phantasma, and it just encourages this fantasy space because the little flags and towers and things tells Midjourney, hey, oh okay, I'm supposed to put fantasy elements kind of faded, muted in the background, but the foreground needs to really be higher contrast, needs to pop as we get closer to the camera, effectively saying, hey audience, what you're looking at is most, we're not trying to make something pretty, we're trying to make something look like a movie or entertainment or whatever. And it has this effect of where you'll notice the bottom panel is particularly blurry. Okay. um what this effect does is essentially repeats the style noise, the noise, like the effect of noise at lower styles, and causes that to go, okay, it's acceptable for me to use these kind of lower assumptions in the imagery. And I noticed this because I have two srefs. I have one sref that includes this blurred bottom panel, and one that doesn't. That's just the top two here. And what that's going to do is I've noticed that it removes the depth of field. It removes the kind of like tilt shift effect that you see inside of these prompts. So if you want to remove the tilt shift, just remove that bottom panel from your SREF. Yeah, yeah, it's pretty neat. Um,
Very cool.
yeah,
And
and
thank you for
so
putting it back in there.
oh, no problem at all. I just mostly wanted to emphasize that this is all thanks to too much grinding. Too much deep diving into Midjourney and finding patterns that to a lot of people I don't think they would really see. Like especially when it comes to knowing the lower styles and the effect that it has to encourage imagery. or at least promote the similar imagery. So the fact that we had no characters in here is a learned experience. The fact that the farther away things get more muted in color is another experience. It's all these things add up. So um
Mm.
Yeah.
yeah,
It also shows how important it is, like in this community, to work on stuff together.
right.
Like my initial spark was putting multiple images in an SREF to enforce a different kind of behavior. Victor went with that and built up on it. And
Oh,
that's
absolutely.
things like then Legal Beagle came in with a suggestion that if you have an image that you want to basically redo and you add the original image before you remix it into the sref again and as an image prompt, it stabilizes the outcome. And like all of these things build on each other. And that's
And
so
that's what
great about
makes
this community. Yeah.
yeah, that's what makes the Midjourney community the best community in AI. To be
Yeah.
completely honest.
Oh yeah,
True.
100%. I do like a couple other communities. Don't get me wrong, but the Midjourney folks have been the most accepting and widest to the like to the potentiality of it all. Like it's been so cool to see the community be the center of it, and have and I hear David say that more often than I think anyone else, that it like the first things that get brought up are usually community requests and things like that. Like it's a big
Hmm.
focus here. So I when I first started messing around with Midjourney, like honestly, I had a very business oriented brain on. I was like, okay, there's so much money, there's so much potential, we could do this, la, 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 whatever. And I didn't
Hmm.
see the same potentials that they did, and it's all because of the people of that are involved, like all the community that's here. And now I'm like, I was so short sighted with with my own goals, like with my own like aspirations, and
Absolutely. And it's when
yeah,
people
it's
come in and
huge.
they're immediately like, "Oh, so how are you making money with this?" It's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
oh, you poor sweet summer child." You know what I mean?
Yeah, especially
How
if
you
you're
Yeah.
making
coming into
friends
this with
with
no
this? How
skills.
you making
Yeah,
friends with this? How you making art with this?
right,
Um,
right.
no, but it's really cool. Everybody really does help each other out, and it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
And we're
I
about to
started
make
with
some
mid
real big things.
yeah. I started with Midjourney because I wanted to make imagery for my board games.
Hmm.
And then I think that was when V3 was out. And then I was on stage with David for the first time. And then basically my mind exploded, experiencing
Yeah.
like him and the community
Oh
and
God, I
everything
adore
being,
that guy. He's a real sweetheart.
yeah.
I got to
And
tell David a Plinko analogy, and he liked that. So that made my day. That was it. But yeah, so I would say that at this point, we've gone through, like, basically designing and inputting your own character. You could see that the arms are still pretty close and tight knit on this on your elven goblin inspired character here. But if you now keep remixing or keep re-rolling these weights to where the arms can start to spread out a little bit, we might be able to get her into like all sorts of different poses for the sheet. But the last thing I really want to show here, guys, because I think that we're gonna kind of call it a little earlier tonight. Just it's like I said, we've had a kind of a long week. And there's people running around and doing things and people getting sick and da 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 da. So I think it'll be good to round this out as soon as we have, because I recognize that every week is kind of a new challenge when it comes to the stuff you guys want to do. And I know that there's some really big news coming for Midjourney soon. So I'm more than excited to
oh
dig
yeah.
into that stuff. But I'm waiting on those announcements to be made before I can open up the Isekai channels, because I want to see what you guys make with this stuff. I really do. I just worry if I open a lot of that stuff up, I'm going to uh I, I just want to make sure that the new tools are available for everybody when we do. So play around with this, get some experience with this particular SREF because I'm going to be using it a whole bunch, and explore the city of Phantasma. But the last thing I'll get into is expressions. So let's find the one that we
Maybe
did here. Yeah,
maybe one thing to add to that, like
yeah,
if you're doing it, if you're going to explore the city of Phantasma and its surroundings and its people and basically create locations, that's your chance to influence like where the story will play out in the future. Like these locations may be featured and the characters will be in them, and then you can expand off of that again, and everything will grow and expand and become this wild big world of our shared imagination. And I think that's something truly beautiful.
right, right. Well, and now that you say that, Rhapsody, I probably should give a portal for these people to drop these images into. So
Yeah.
you know what, screw it, I won't launch the chaos portal just yet because I still need to organize one or two things in there. But the what I am going to do though is I'm going to go to the story nexus here, and you guys can see all my permissions and stuff. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to make it public, um and let you guys have fun in there. So
Mm.
that's turned on now. And screw it. Chaos Portal is Chaos Portal. Any it's in beta, so I'll just say that it may some things may change. Don't get angry at me if I have to delete your character for any reason. I probably won't,
Yeah.
but we'll see. There's a lot of categories inside of the Chaos Portal, but it's where you guys are going to be able to submit original characters and things. So let's go ahead and just turn that on too. Why not? Boop. All right, that's all live now. At least it should be. Um, what you're gonna see is you're gonna see the story nexus, and what I want you guys to do is, if whatever your favorite stuff from that was generated today, go ahead and post it in the Phantasma thread that's here. Um,
You want them to directly post it in the story nexus? That's
yeah, why
bold.
not? That's why not?
Okay,
Why not?
yeah.
As long
Okay.
as it's a comment, it's fine. Like, because they can't make posts to it; they can only comment onto those posts. So they shouldn't be able to make new posts in the story nexus. That's what the chaos portal is for. The
If you
chaos
are,
portals,
please don't. If you're able
yeah,
to make posts to the story nexus, I will delete
And
them.
once again, I did put that link to the Discord in your chat.
awesome.
Here
Thank
in
you
the
so
chat.
much.
So
Thank you so much, Kinky. I
if you're
really
not a member
appreciate that.
yet, become a member today.
Yeah, and we'll make a proper consider this a soft beta launch then of this, because or sorry, a soft alpha launch at this point, because I don't know if this is going to work. But it is certainly true that there already are people submitting characters. Like Legal Beagle got his Ella in there. Ella. And I posted a couple for you guys as examples. I got X Slayer's Knight in there. I got oh shoot, every time I click one of these, it breaks Discord again because I have all these damn plugins in. Um, yeah, it's great. I would highly recommend checking out everything we have here. The other elements that are inside of this thread is that we have the Phantasma post where you can share your results from this SREF. We have an exquisite corpse, which is what I was mostly trying to wait for later, but we'll get into that a little the next stream. We have the version 2 of GNOME. So if you want all of her image codes and everything like that, it includes also the master sheet for her. So it's there is a third one getting developed, but at least for that you can check it out for the newest GNOME. And then also in here we have the SREF for just outside of Phantasmo. So if you want to show your characters training or arriving to Phantasma, you can actually give them an introduction, basically, like have them enter the city and stuff like that, and that'll be through this SREF. And then let's see here. We also have the this is one of my personal favorites. This is mostly drawn by the art director. But these are the Nards, who are the gnome guards. Yes, I'm leaning fully into these jokes with this stuff. So, the gnome Nard is like the lowest level grunt basically of the city. So there are creatures and monstrous things and whatnot, which I will be revealing next week. But the Nards though are your first kind of trial, and we'll get into Gnome versus the Blob next time. Because yeah, there's a lot of fun stuff with fighting that's going to be coming. I promise you guys are going to really dig all the fighting stuff coming up soon. So let's leave it at that. I know I said I was going to do expressions, so but in terms of where you could submit the stuff we made today, that's where it would go.
Awesome.
Yeah. Sorry, that was a little rambly. My bad.
No, I
Let's
loved it.
see. I Trollfew said, "Can we already use the gnome guard to make things?" Oh yeah, go nuts. The last part that I'll add about this is that inside of that Discord here, there is a new lodge, and the way that the lodges work for my Discord is that they are image generation spaces. So you guys should be able to see it. If not, let me know. But basically, the Green Lodge is now a fantasy only uh lodge. So whatever gets generated inside of here, I don't enforce it. If you guys are going to generate random things, and occasionally it's not a big deal, but that's the goal of this lodge, is just to do fantasy prompts. So we have different examples of the Nards battle, like, or not that battle, it could be an Ocean's 11 kind of heists behind the door kind of thing. But I have different examples of the exquisite corpse that is here, as well as the SRFs from the no from Phantasma. So yeah, feel free digging into that. There will be some really big announcements coming next week related to this. So I'm hopefully next week anyway. You could see me getting hit by Fungal Mancer in the face with some sort of weird fungal magic. Yeah, yeah, it's all there.
Very nice. I guess I'll throw in while we have a little small break and Victor is showing his stuff. On Saturday and Sunday, there is always prompt battles. We would love to see you guys come in and play with us. It's a game where you. Whoa, that's not what I meant to put in there at all. I was trying to put links, but I did, but just to something else. But Saturday and Sunday we play prompt battles for 16 hours out of the weekend. That is Saturday from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. And then on Sunday we go from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. And that's on the event calendar, which I thought I was linking a moment ago, but wasn't. But you guys should go look at the event calendar, drop in. It's not a 16-hour event for everybody. It is a come and go as you please type of deal. It's hard to miss if you want to be there. Everyone's super nice, helpful, and friendly, and you could learn something or just have a great time or make a new friend. You already belong. You just have to join. And there is a like I said, if you go to the top of the Midjourney server, you can find the links to the event. Yeah,
I also hear they are new and improved.
they are improving every time we play. We have a new poll unit, which is where we are submitting the images to now. So nobody can say that everyone's voting for their friends, because nobody can see who's putting the images in, and nobody can see who's voting for them. That's nice.
Are people actually trying to cheat at prompt battles?
No, but
Okay,
there have been allegations.
I see. That's funny though.
Some people just take things too seriously and act like there's money involved. There is not
Right.
any money involved.
They just can't get that gambler mindset out of their
Yeah,
head.
that's okay
Um,
though.
yeah, right. I'm just gonna set a style of 50 for these multiple expressions prompt, just so we could try to get some faces out of this character for Ash. But oh, look, it's Rio's family. Look at the whole family's here. You got
Yeah, I
mom.
Aww.
You got the kids. Oh, that's adorable.
I wanted multiple characters in the tavern so I could replace every single one of them with a different set of
Yeah,
characters that were prompted today.
right.
So that's what I'm
That's
going to
great.
do next.
Awesome. Yeah, and that's a common trick, and I don't think that trick's going to go away, by the way, anytime soon. Which is that you will usually get the same character in multiple places inside the prompt, and it will be pretty common for you to swap out those characters. Like maybe Frankenstein, like one or two parts of your new character onto the other character, and then you'll be able to in paint the rest of it with more control.
By the way,
Mhm. What?
Bokan has just added a pizzeria to Phantasma.
Oh my God! Look at that!
Yeah.
Look at that pizza place. Oh my God! I didn't realize fantasy places had pizza. Oh,
I mean, would
yeah,
you want to live in a fantasy without pizza?
I know, right? It's not a fantasy anymore. It's a damn dystopia.
It's a
Uh,
nightmare.
it's a nightmare. Yeah, I know. That's hilarious. That's great. Um, very cool. Very cool. Let me just show the expressions here really quick. Let's see. Uh, style 50 multiple expressions. Okay. So we definitely got a little bit of a shoulder turn, that kind of thing, but we definitely did not get any of the multiple expressions. We got a back of her head we could use. But what I'm going to do is do the last little trick for you guys, which is something you could always do. There's no one stopping you. There's nothing wrong with this. But instead of using
I'm
lower
gonna
styles,
stop you.
oh my God, she's gonna stop me. She can't stop. She can't stop me from hitting 5. I switched from Niji 6 to Niji 5 for just the in paint. Niji 5 is very repetitive. It tends to repeat things very, very heavily. So it's pretty damn good for specifically faces. Like specifically, I want the same thing but just slightly different. You could get away with this just by like lowering the styles enough to where it becomes just hyper derivative of whatever else is in there. But Niji 5 is kind of just an easy hack to because look, we instantly got it. In terms of, okay, yes, we have maybe not multiple expressions, but we got a different expression than what she already has. So then we can then just in paint this and say, okay, we got kind of an upset face on this side. Let's get let's get a multiple happy expressions on this side, and that diversity alone will tell Midjourney, oh, okay, there needs to be more than just all the same kind of stuff. So we'll just do multiple happy expressions. And that should do the trick to where we could just keep going until we have a diverse set of expressions that actually represents the character. So not every expression is needed, but I can promise you that it'll make your character more rounded and more real. So that's important. I'll just wait for
Truer
that third
words
trick,
have
and
never
that'll
been
be it.
spoken.
But otherwise, be sure to call your mom and tell her it's to wish her happy International Women's Day. And outside of that, guys, I just really appreciated your time being here. This was a lot of fun, especially for me because I recognize that a lot of what I'm looking at is kind of like the foundations of the future of entertainment, at least in my opinion, where we get to make our own stories and our own, worlds that we all get to jump into and we all get to find enjoyment in. That's fulfilling, and I think that this is so close to it already. Like we're getting there, and I'm just stoked to see what else you guys get up to. But look at that, she is happy. She's it kind of gave her a bit of like an evil cocky smile, right? For being happy. She's kind of scary happy. You know what I mean? Like, and that's kind of a meh. I kind of like it. I mean, honestly, I whatever like female characters kind of look like they're kind of like upset or whatever. It's just one of those things that's like, yeah, but in a certain light, it's cute. like it's definitely one of those things where I certainly like a villainous looking lady, kind of Cruella de Vil, and lean hard on that. It shows up in the personalities. It really does. Um, yeah. All right. So that's it for me. Is there anything else? I think we're done. I think
Yeah, I
I
think
think
we did it.
I think we did
Yeah.
it. I think we knocked this one out. And I wanted to thank you guys so much for being here. And if there's anything else, feel free to hit me up on my Discord. Kinky did all the links. She's got all the links there. I'll
I
also
do.
be I'll be also streaming on Twitch on Sundays. Rhapsody and I did a draw along on last Sunday, and Fran, who Gnome is based off of, joined that stream. So she might join the next one too. So
Yeah.
Nice.
it would be really fun to draw with you guys, especially if you got a drawing tablet. So,
But
um,
yeah, last Sunday we took like the little scribbles everybody did and threw them into Midjourney to get a high quality version of it. And it was just
right.
hilarious.
Hilarious, like absolutely hilarious. I can't wait to share that video. I'm not sharing it with you guys now because I want to make sure Fran gets to see it first. Rhapsody, of course, gets to see it first before it gets out to the public. So once I have it ready, and then it's out there, I'll link it here, and we'll probably watch it next week too. So that'll be fun.
Oh, I made these for
Yeah.
you.
Oh my! Ooh, look at that! Oh, these look so good. Oh, I can't wait. Can't wait to keep exploring this with you guys. And thank
A
you
lot
so
of
much for that,
gnomes. I'm getting
Kinky.
a lot of gnomes.
Yeah,
Which is cute.
it's so cute. It's so cute to just be like, oh, it's a whole society run on these tiny people, like these tiny people
Mm-hmm.
with cone hats. Yeah, it's great. It's great. Okay. All right, guys. You all
All
have a
right,
good night. Thank you
bye.
so much for coming. Later.
Have a great
Yep.
night, everybody. See you this weekend, and bye bye.
Have a
Bye.
great weekend.
Yeah, and we're gonna wiggle together. All
Wiggle,
right.
wiggle,
Woo!
wiggle,
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 wiggle.
wiggle, wiggle, wiggle,
Bye.
wiggle.